Everybody, welcome back to the Apartment 83 podcast. Hey, first week of 2019 is over. How's everyone doing with their New Year's resolutions? I have failed all of them so far. But the best part is, like I said last week, because I failed 2 or 3 of them the first day, you can always start again.
Yes. I've been pretty well so far with mine, honestly.
Yeah, dude's been working out like a fucking animal over here.
I guess.
He's got abs you could shred cheese on.
No, it's just what we were talking about earlier. It's the 10 push-ups, the 20 push-ups here and there, the flutter kicks for like a minute 30.
Just doing that circuit kind of throughout the days you have time. Yeah.
I feel great.
Yeah.
Working on some things.
Working on ourselves, trying to be better people.
I guess.
Been watching a lot of David Goggins and Cam Hanes.
Real right.
Those guys are ridiculous.
Speaking of ridiculous, honest to God, I cannot stop looking at MeUndies.
He texted me, 2 days ago? Or was it 2 days ago? Or was it last night? Was it last night?
Was it last night? I don't remember.
In the last couple of days, he texted me about his marveling at how amazing MeUndies are. Free plug. And I'm like, yeah, no, they're the greatest fucking underwear ever. He's like, I never have to worry about a gift for anyone for a holiday again or a birthday. Because that's what I'm getting him. And then he goes to me today, you know, I showered today and then put my old MeUndies back on.
What's funny, too, is I showered just to put them back on, too. Do you know what I mean? Like,
he's like, I'm dirtying the underwear by being dirty. I better be clean so the underwear aren't dirty.
Yeah, right? I showered early. I woke up in the morning at 4. I showered. I went through the day. I came home. I saw that the underwear had came in the mail, and I was like, oh, I showered again.
Do you hear that, Mark Wahlberg? He got up at 4 to get new underwear.
Yeah. I try to follow. You know why we wake up at 4, I guess. I think you should try it too, by the way.
Yeah.
You're on top of it. I don't know. It feels good watching, like the track you're watching, right? You're standing outside, you got a joint and your coffee, and you're just watching the traffic. It's nice and quiet, and all of a sudden a car goes by about 2 hours later, and then the traffic... And the
2 hours later? You're just sitting there for 2 hours smoking a joint, drinking coffee?
Well, no, but I've got my book and stuff.
What a charmed life.
Hey, leave me alone.
It's 44 degrees outside today. It's balmy. I'm just going to wear a sweatshirt and read this book.
Yeah, and a nice joint and some coffee. I'm trying to quit smoking cigs.
This self-help?
What?
Book.
No.
It's
Console Wars still.
Oh, Console Wars.
Yeah, it's a huge book, and I'm like trying to...
That's the one about Nintendo and Sega and everything.
I'm just trying to live my life accordingly, and it's hard to find.
There's been, like 24 systems out since Nintendo? Like, since
so
Atari,
So many,
right?
dude.
What's your favorite?
What's my favorite? Holy shit.
What's your favorite? Because a lot of people will go old school. They're like, oh, I love my Xbox One, but, the ColecoVision, whatever, had the best games. I'm like, fucking did it?
ColecoVision?
Right? You even know what that is?
Hell, is it? I think what was that other one they had? Was like the weird drawing one. Was it ColecoVision?
I think ColecoVision was part of it because that was that
with the dolphin.
Did it predate or postdate Atari? I think it would predate Atari. ColecoVision? It might not have. Here's what I know. Here's what I know about, and I could be wrong, but here's what I know about video gaming systems. Steve-O, good friend of the show, one of my best friends in 25 years.
Yes, Steve-O.
As far as I know, still has this. Whoa. It's a video gaming system called Vectrex. It's about, I don't know, 1.5 feet tall by about 6 inches wide or so. It's a all-in-one unit that has the screen built into it. I mean, there's maybe like a 4 or 5 inch, probably like a 4-inch screen.
It's like a Monkey
black
machine.
And white. And right, exactly. And then it took a cartridge, almost like an 8-track, right up in the front, and then the one controller it had was hardwired into it.
Oh my god, that thing is probably so.
It's called
sick.
a Vectrex. Oh well, we used to play it at his house sometimes when we would hang over in high school, but it's probably worth a shitload of money to somebody now.
Vectrex, right?
Yeah, Vectrex. And I think the one game that we played the most.
Whoa!
Yeah, old as fuck. Like crazy old school. Like predates Atari. I'm almost positive predates Atari. And if not, it was around the same time. It just wasn't as popular.
This one is going for $819.99 on eBay.
I could definitely see that going for those. But we would play. It was actually Star Trek, the original Star Trek series. That was the game that he had a couple, but that was the one game I would play. And it was just like Space Invaders. It was like very basic graphics, Pong-esque. But that was the first one.
I'm amazed by this.
That was the first, and I'm pretty sure he still has it. But that was the first system
that I'm aware of. So cool.
But for me, like, my favorite probably was N64. And again, I've said this before. I don't play video games. I'm not a big gamer at all. I'm impressed by what the new systems can do, how amazing the graphics look, and just the amount of shit they're able to do. But playing GoldenEye, that was the thing. Like,
dude, GoldenEye. You know what? Nintendo 64 and PlayStation 2 were my favorite. Like I just couldn't.
Just like GoldenEye was the pinnacle. That was the first multiplayer first-person shooter. I'm pretty sure that was the first one for sure.
This thing is so sick.
And we used to, it was my brother's system. I have it. It's actually here. But we used to have every weekend during the summer for like 3 years, we would have all of our friends come over. They would come over on like a Saturday, and just for hours, usually in the garage, we had a big TV out there. We would just play rounds of GoldenEye together, and we'd do the unlock where you had all the rocket launchers only, or like all the weapons and unlimited ammo.
Oh man.
And just blast each other apart for hours. It was the best. So like, that's kind of like, that's got my heartstrings for sure.
Yeah.
But, the newer systems obviously have way better graphics processors and all the other shit. But, that's why I know somebody, and I think it's on YouTube, somebody took like the first level of GoldenEye, where you're in like the library and there's like the bathrooms and stuff where you drop in through the ceiling, the very first one, and they re-rendered it, like basically recreated it without anyone to fight, but they recreated the whole floor, the whole level in like 1080p. So it's in full high def as opposed to like the glitchy blocks.
I wonder if
I'm sure it's on YouTube because I've seen it, which was really neat. But you'd have to have a team completely redo the game.
Yeah,
which would be cool.
It would be awesome.
And if you could put it on one of the newer systems, I don't know what's the newest Nintendo one, the Switch.
Yeah, something like that.
Then Paige just got one for Christmas.
I guarantee it would be amazing though. It'd be so sick.
But to be able
remastered version of
a remastered version, like you have to recreate it, but like to do a full like rebuild on that game, I bet you get enough traffic to make it worth the time to be able to pay for it.
What would I search that for? That they recreated.
I would say probably Bond Goldeneye in high def. That would probably be the best thing to look for. I saw it, I don't know, a year or two ago probably. So I know that it's out there.
Here's what GoldenEye could have looked like.
I think that sounds right.
Do you mind if I watch it?
No, here, turn the thing. This is why we're going to be switching back to video very shortly. Where'd it go?
Here we go.
Oh, it's on Vimeo. So, yeah. So for those of you just listening, if you're not familiar, you can just Google it. A video does come up, but somebody took the time to recreate like the whole first level without any interaction. So there's not actual any gameplay, but it's just walking through.
Oh man.
This is very fun for the people at home. Let me skip it ahead a little bit. Oh.
Was this it?
Oh, no, there is some... I'm sorry, I gotta turn this around. Oh, so there is some killing. Yeah, but like... It's...
Well, this is crazy. I mean, it looks...
A little of 30 minutes of gameplay.
Just looks a little bit better than...
Let me see. Oh, yeah, it does look... It looks better, but it looks...
I remember doing
really
this.
Similar.
Oh my goodness, this is crazy watching this.
This isn't the same one. This isn't the same level. The one that I saw was the one where it's like literally the first level.
Oh, did you see that?
Where you start up above the in the bathroom and you drop down through that shaft. Like that's the first level. That's the one I saw, and there was no. I don't remember there being gameplay. This just looks like a slightly better version of the game, but the other one looked way more high def. Maybe this isn't the right one. Well, it looks exactly the same. It just looks clearer. Yeah, no. I don't think this is it. This might not be it. Either way, Bond Goldeneye. Fucking fantastic. Yeah, this is not the same. I'm disappointed. This is not the same. No, it is. It is more. It is clearer. But this isn't the level I saw, and there wasn't any actual gameplay. But it had been a couple years, so maybe whoever did it continued on and actually like did this first level.
I don't remember doing that. This guy's doing all sorts of stuff that I never did when I was a kid. I just remember just
no, because this is one of the levels.
Oh, look, there it is. There's
like a color glitch, right? Like a brightness glitch.
I think that was the normal thing.
No, I don't think they A/B'd it at all. I think it was just maybe a programming issue. Because they do the thing, and then he does the dive off with the bungee jump, right? This is that level.
I think.
He's on the dam.
Well, what is all this stuff? I didn't know any of this. I can't believe it.
Did you play the game?
Oh wait, you know what? I do remember this.
Yeah.
It was just so long ago.
Okay, you're right. They did just do an A/B to the old one. Okay. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So yeah, definitely looks way better. So, if anybody wanted to pick this up and run with it, I guarantee people would buy this in this higher HD version.
Oh yeah, totally.
And hide a couple more things, make the cheat code still available for unlimited rocket launchers and shit. People would I would do this. I don't play video games at all. I would buy a console just to play this game.
You know what else is kind of like this too, but they made it for like PlayStation and Xbox One is NBA Jam. This is so funny. We're so intrigued by this.
So yeah, I think this is hosted through a site, but it's definitely a YouTube video, so I know that it's out there. You can find it. That guy doesn't even have a face. He didn't even have a head, just a hat. Okay.
I don't remember doing this.
Yeah, this is definitely part. Yeah, you're right. They were A-Bing it. So this is part of the level, but it's not the one that I saw initially. But it's definitely like I would absolutely buy a console just to play this game. And if they have the 4-player mode still, that's the best thing with the paintballs.
Come on, Nintendo Switch.
Not anybody, I don't know how powerful their processor is. If it has to be cross-platform where it's available on PlayStation and Xbox, I would absolutely do that. I'd buy one or the other, or borrow one. Like Paige would let me borrow her Xbox. She's like, no, that's okay.
You can take mine, man. I don't really play it.
You were all about Red Dead Redemption 2.
I beat it, and now I'm just kind of...
I thought that required like thousands of hours of gameplay. This one girl I work with at one of the restaurants, she's like, oh yeah, she goes, I already beat it, so I started over again so I could do all the extra stuff. So I'm like, you just wanted to beat it as fast as you could?
Because the storylines are amazing.
Yeah.
And it's just really fun to like just interact like that.
Yeah, that actually, yeah, the ABs are really cool on this. So yeah, if you guys get a chance, check it out. It's definitely worth looking at. I think anyway, as a person who doesn't game at all, I think it's really cool. And if you are already aware of this and I'm a moron and I'm behind the times, that's cool too, because that's pretty typical.
Down there, that is so funny. I can't get over that guy made that.
Yeah.
How would you even begin to?
I don't see. That seems like that would have been a whole team.
To
you know what I mean? To recreate an entire level in a full, like to look at it, and you would need more than one person, I would think.
Wow, crazy.
Come in to write that program. Did you ever play? It was actually for the computer, not Doom. Not Dune.
Duke Nukem?
No. What was it called? I feel like it was one word. And
not Doom?
And you were it was a super huge, crazy, expansive world. And you went around searching for stuff. And I don't think there was any other people in it. It was just you. What the fuck was it called? It was really intense.
Minecraft?
No. We're more than 15 years ago. I think we had it. I think my brother and I used to play it. Well, he used to play it. I don't remember. What was it called?
I can't help you.
It was one. Google computer games from early 2000s and see like what list comes up. I'm pretty sure it's like one or two.
It
words.
hurt us.
Did it?
Yeah. Number munchies.
Nope.
Munchers.
Nope.
Word munchers.
Nope.
Math blaster.
No.
Kinder comp.
No.
No. Mario teaches typing.
These are children's games. No. I'm like an actual full like immersive video game. It was after Doom and Doom 2. I'm pretty sure it was one word. And it was this crazy, expansive world. It was like Avatar before Avatar existed. It was, and the graphics for the day were...
Braid?
No. Fuck me. I remember specifically one thing. There was a behind the scenes kind of video that I watched about the creating of the game. And there's a clock tower that has it's like a Big Ben kind of thing that has like a chime that happens when it strikes like an even hour. And in order to create that tone, the guy recorded him hitting like a crescent wrench and took that tone, that reverberation, and just down pitched it like 3 steps. And that became the noise that he used.
That's kind of sweet too.
Very, very reminiscent of what they did for the original Star Wars, where they took a lot of different things that were sounds and they turned them in like the blaster sound from Star Wars is actually, if you've ever seen, because there's video of this out there, so I know that I've seen it. I might be saying the wrong words, but if you've ever seen like a big like radio tower or even like a larger telephone pole where they have a metal guy wire coming off of the ground to help keep it in place. You know, and it's really taut. If you hit that wire with something metal, it makes like a wow sound. They used that and then down pitched it, and were able to turn that into the blaster sound that they used in Star Wars through all the movies.
Wow.
So it was really the same kind of idea, manipulating sound that happens in real life. What the fuck? All right, you do that. I'm going to try to look it up.
It's going to drive me nuts. I can't find it at all.
It's not. Oh, I got to turn my strip back
20
on.
best open world video games since 2000.
I can't remember what it's called. It's driving me fucking crazy. Fat Kid, if you're listening, scream it at me. Send it to my brain.
Oh boy.
What's it called?
3D Death Case, Aliens, Alter Ego.
Games from
Bust
the
a Groove.
90s. This isn't going to be right. Myst. 1993. That's why. Myst. M-I-S-T. I knew that shit. If you've never played Myst, that game was super intensive.
Oops.
Like, Google that and take a look at some of those pictures.
M-Y-S-T, you said?
Yep.
Yeah.
If you just go to the Google the image search this is from 1993. This is how intense those graphics were almost 30 years ago.
Whoa, let's skip ahead. Myst.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, so we're talking 1993.
Wow, this is crazy.
The graphics were pretty intense. Seems to be like a weird supercut of it. Maybe not.
What's the premise of the game?
Don't remember. You're on some kind of mission to find things in order to complete the game, but it's like there was like a shitload of levels. It was like a really long game.
Never ending.
It was a really long game, and I never got anywhere near close to finishing it. Gary got way further than me. He was better at the stuff, and he just had more of an intention to do it, but yeah. I can't believe that was that long ago, though. Oh, they did have it for PlayStation eventually. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's...
I hate it, kind of.
Because that's the problem. Like, I think that consoles are super powerful now, and a computer in 1993 obviously wasn't nearly as powerful as an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4, but it took a long time for consoles, to reach the level of what the computer version of games were doing graphically. You know what I mean? Like the visual stuff was, I think, much further behind on a console. And I think Xbox got it first because they were coming from being Microsoft, because it's from a computer manufacturer, and they were the ones in the game games were created for their platform back in the day.
Computer games are insane. Computer games are way better than like platform games, like Xbox games and stuff.
Right. They from what I understand, they still are. They're still better. There's a lot of people who definitely still prefer to use those systems, and I don't know if it's just because. You know, it's funny though. People are willing to spend whatever they're willing to spend on those consoles, right? They want the new system. Yeah. They'll spend $600, $700 on it. Why wouldn't you just make that system with a comparable graphics processor and CPU and RAM and all the stuff you'd put? You know, it's a standalone computer basically, just without the monitor. Why wouldn't you do that if you could create platform games, you know, across the board for a long time that continue to make your console viable?
Money.
If the computer itself, you know,
they make the money.
You know, you could build a PC twice as powerful as an Xbox for a third the price or half the price. At least you used to be able to. I don't know if that's still the case. I
have no idea. I used to take electronics apart all the time when I was a kid. Now I don't do any of that stuff anymore. Yeah. I used to love taking apart. I can't even say that right now. I can't even speak. My God.
Taking stuff apart?
Yeah.
Like deconstructing it?
Yeah.
Sort of like backward engineering shit?
And I just kind of fell out of that.
Yeah, I used to do that too. I did a lot of guitar work and shit that way. I would just learn on my own. It was before YouTube was a thing where you could go, how do I install this pickup?
Well, how do I do this? Real fast.
I don't know, man. It's childhood though.
Childhood. I wish I could do like we talked about this. It was more fun making movies with a VHS camera than it is with my iPhone. Like when we were a kid, like having that big ass VHS friggin' video recorder.
Yeah, you were saying that. For me, creating content like that, I have more fun. And this is for me. I have more fun doing it with the newer devices that have better quality of capture and clarity.
Yeah, I guess
because my desire for the aesthetic, maybe the aesthetic that you prefers for the VHS, where it's a little grainy and you know how to work around that. But for me, I prefer, the clearer picture and the readily available files that you don't have to record in real time, but you can just download the file from your phone and it's way faster to use, because then I don't have to worry about the hardware or running out of tape, as it were. And then I can just let the scene be what the scene is. And I really enjoy that, because then I as long as it's framed correctly, it's capturing whatever the performance is, whatever the thing is. And then I just know that I have it, and it's my desire and my need for immediate gratification that I go, oh, no, I don't have to wait to import this tape to this thing, and then I'm slicing it back and forth, and I knew I lose generations.
Firewire, remember that stuff? That is so funny.
We're using that right now to record this podcast.
Oh, really?
Firewire, yeah.
Oh, weird. I remember you needed a Firewire for the mini DV tapes. Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah, I actually have a special cable for my old camera, which was a mini DV tape, but it was only standard 480.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So I don't use that for anything anymore. But
I want a mini DV tape recorder. That'd be cool. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, they're all right. But
just walk around town and film everybody.
The thing is, it's still linear, and that's the thing that bothers me. The thing that I love about all the digital platforms is that it's completely non-linear. You can do whatever you want in any time and space with it, and I like that. I like that control, because it allows me to do things that otherwise I wouldn't be able to do, or wouldn't look or feel exactly the way that I wanted it to, because I'd have to settle for whatever the limitation of the technology was.
Yeah.
That's why I like what we have right now. Like I said, we're going to be going back to video for the show, and the Christmas episode was fun, and it was definitely a learning experience in what to do, what not to do. And just me being aware of how I look on camera. But, coming up in newer episodes, we're going to figure something out to where, it'll just, I don't want to put up just anything.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you on that one.
I'm trying to make sure that this shit's worth your time to listen to and watch, everybody.
It's good car conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put it on and hop on and listen.
And I
hope
I hope that you take from like the start of the conversation, the general just sort of, what was your favorite gaming system as a kid, that you didn't turn into you guys going, why the fuck are they still talking about this shit? Oh, they're just watching videos on the show now? They're just watching, they're not watching?
But we're talking about it. We want you to listen to our conversation. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Is to, I don't know, it's people talking.
Yeah.
That's why I kind of liked, when I was really going hard on the Red Dead, I would just hop on Twitch and just watch other people play it, and they would sit there and talk to everybody. Do you know what I mean? And it was just kind of funny. Like I would sit there and chat with them too, and they're like, "Oh shit!" And I don't know. It was kind of like it's a community. It was fun.
One of Paige's favorite things to do is just watch the YouTube videos that are posted after they're live streamed of the guys that are on Twitch that are funny, that just talk shit or just talk to each other and just make jokes while they're playing. I think I mentioned this last time, or maybe the time before. She was watching one. She showed me one where these two guys were playing like a Nancy Drew computer game from like the 2000s, where it was like a solve the mystery kind of thing, and they were just making all these jokes about whatever shit was going on in the game, and it was pretty funny, and just like there's a big market for that. And,
it's weird.
I just without getting sorry everybody, without getting into something again that I've talked about before, the whole idea is like, with the way that today is, Gary Vee, I think one of the things he said that made the most impact on me of everything he said, and he said a lot of great shit, is the radio is the TV, or the TV is the radio, and your phone is now the TV. This is the device. This is the thing that everybody has one in their pocket. Almost everybody. 90% in this country, I'd say, right? 90% of 3.2 million, 320 million people have a smartphone of some kind in their pocket.
Yeah, that's nuts to think about.
and they're looking for content. That's all the videos that they come across on YouTube, on Facebook, on the stuff that they follow on Instagram. It's all content, right? It's all just stuff that people have thought of. This was not a thing that existed just 5 years ago. Definitely not 10 years ago when the iPhone first came out. This level of shit didn't exist. You had YouTube. That was basically it, and that was still in its infancy, really. And now you have all these people creating all this content. And some of it's great, and a lot of it's garbage. But you have your option to watch any and all of it. And it allows...
Any and all of it, too. That's kind of nuts.
And that's the thing. Like, anyone can put their shit out there. And if it's just something that they do... Like, so that guy I told you about, the guy Rob. Okay, so separate side story. I'll get to that in a second. So I was talking to that guy Rob yesterday at work, about the lacrosse stuff, the lacrosse guy. And he used to have a YouTube channel where he actually did tutorials on him lacing lacrosse sticks. He'd build them for people.
It's kind of sweet.
For like other college students and stuff. And he started like a side business doing it. Didn't really make much money from it. But he'd get people from as far away as California and Hawaii sending him their sticks and stuff to have him assemble and lace them for him. And he didn't charge him. He charged him shipping plus materials and like $10. He made no money on it. He goes, it was just something to do. He goes, because I'm not lacing my sticks all the time because they only wear out however so often.
And it's kind of fun.
And because I wanted to stay, sharp with it and know what I was doing, I just did other stuff. Right. And it was fun. He goes, I could put on a movie and do like 2 or 3 sticks in 2 hours and make a few bucks. And what was the difference? So he has since deleted the channel, he said, which disappointed me because I would have loved to see the stuff. But just a dude that I worked with for almost 3 years. I think just because he is, I don't know that he said he was self-conscious about the stuff, but he's like, because it didn't matter. He goes, it didn't need to be there. I'm like, but didn't it though? That was fucking,
was there.
Like, that was cool. It was like,
it was there.
When I tell people that we do the podcast, they're like, oh, you do a podcast? I'm like, they're like, what's it about? I'm like, well,
everything and anything, I guess.
Pretty much exactly
make
that.
lists as we go along.
We make lists. We try to be funny. We're not always successful. And they go, oh, well, that's cool. I'm like, oh, what am I going to tell you? We talk about dolphins all the time.
Dolphins from ColecoVision,
It's
right?
like all we can talk about is the conspiracy theory that
Flat Earth.
No. That octopi are an alien species that came here on an asteroid 100 million years ago. Oh. That would be a great podcast. You could do maybe 2 episodes. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck are we going to talk about?
I kind of like it.
It's ridiculous.
Can we talk about what was it? Sletheopods? What?
What
the hell did you just say?
What, CTE?
No, octopuses from an asteroid.
But yeah, I mean, there's again. Sorry, everybody. Rogan has mentioned a couple of times that when you watch videos of what an octopus can do and just the way that they change colors and texture and shit, and they can regrow all of their limbs and like just all the things that they can do, and they're incredibly high level of intelligence, right? Octopuses are out there.
Aware.
They're out there eating fucking sharks. They're hiding in coral, mimicking coral. And then when a shark's swimming by and they're not paying attention, snatch that motherfucker up, eat that dude. What's the worst they do? They lose a limb, it grows back.
To lose a limb, it grows back. They shoot some ink, they got... Oh,
it's fucking crazy.
Terrifying. The ocean is so scary. Side note, what about these good bathroom apps? I'm like looking at sit or squat.
Definitely, not even side note, dude. That's a different topic altogether.
Oh, wow. Fair enough. But I'm like, my mind is blown. I thought that this was not a real thing. Where to we...
Yeah, so when my mom and my sister last went to New York, probably a few times before the last time, they discovered that there's an app, there's like a regular, like an iPhone app, that tells you where the cleanest and best bathrooms are in New York City.
This says for Crohn's disease.
No.
But it says like best apps for Crohn's disease with people who almost when you go to the bathroom a lot and you need to find a nice bathroom for yourself.
All right, that makes sense. But it's more of like a touristy thing, I guess, but it's like for people traveling. But in New York, that makes sense. It's a huge city. There's,
that is cool.
7 million people when everybody's in there.
When we would tour, we would just search for bathrooms, and I wanted to make it like a MTV Cribs thing and like post it and like, all right, everybody, this is where you go. Welcome to good bathrooms. If you make a left down this hallway and then you make a right and you knock twice and you get in here, got a good bathroom. And like that was just the whole premise of it. But wow, I can't believe there's a real thing.
Yeah. There's apps, there's apps for like for everything, but I just thought that was funny that there was that thing. But so what I was going to talk about here is the thing about Rob, the guy who plays lacrosse, is we were talking about kids and what games are safe for them to play, what sports are safe for them to play, and we were talking about it's not just concussions and head impact, but actually body impact that can also cause brain damage, concussions, and overtime CTE, and that's an in-depth topic for another time. There's a lot of people who have talked about it who have way more knowledge on it than I do, but I'm aware that it's a thing that happens. And if you don't know what CTE is, I'm going to say this wrong. It's like encephalotrophitis. It's effectively brain damage that happens mostly in sports players that is so severe it causes dementia, and it's a degenerative disease that happens in the brain over time. It's a huge thing that's being talked about specifically in the NFL right now. It's massively being talked about, but not addressed as much as it probably should be in the UFC and in mixed martial arts in general. Boxing for sure. You start to see people who were professionals for years and they're in their late 50s and stuff, and they're starting to slip, and like it's happening faster and faster. There have been athletes who have died or committed suicide that when the autopsy was done, they recognized upon examining the brain that they in fact had CTE from all the head trauma they'd suffered playing sports. And I said to Rob, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that I have CTE, which can make a person impulsive and susceptible to anger flare-ups and stuff, just, kind of make a person unstable. And there's different varying levels of it and affects everyone differently, but similarly. And I said, and he goes, oh, what sport did you play? I'm like, oh, well, I bowled for a number of years. And he starts laughing. And I'm like, and I played baseball, but I wasn't great at it. I spent most time in right field, picking dandelions, my finger up my ass. Like, it wasn't really, but I just out there just kicking rocks, right? It didn't matter. And, I said, what I'm sure caused it, if I have it, and I think that I do, and anybody who remembers me from middle school, Fat Kid and Steve-O, you'll remember this, I think. From middle school on through probably my freshman year of high school, in order to sort of win favor with the more popular kids in my classrooms, and I was the fat kid who wasn't popular and didn't have any athletic prowess, and I was really awkward and gap-toothed and whatever, and I used to take my textbooks, preferably heavier ones, or multiple ones if I didn't have a heavy one, and I would yell, clear, and I'd smash myself in the forehead with the books. And I did that for 3.5 to 4 years. I'm pretty sure
one day,
during the most formative time in my life, when you're growing up, when you're developing as a teenager, from that time, from that 13 to 16, 17, when your brain's doing the most developing it's doing to become a full actualized person, which isn't even locked into place until your prefrontal cortex finishes developing when you're 25. I'm pretty sure I did myself some real damage.
Well, yeah, dude, you're smashing your friggin' head. I hit my head a while ago, a long, long time ago, but it was really hard.
Dude, after the podcast, I'll show you. I have a yearbook in the other room. Well, one of the dudes who signed it wrote like, whatever, have a great summer, clear, and drew a picture of me smashing myself in the head.
Funny.
I'll show it to you afterwards. Remind me. Like it was a real thing that actually happened.
Clear.
And I'm sure there's got to be some damage up there from that.
Clear.
There has to be.
That is so funny. Well, it's gone now, probably.
No, it doesn't.
Well, maybe.
It doesn't go away. It doesn't.
Maybe.
heal.
Well, at least you acknowledged it.
I probably gave myself mild concussion at least 3 times. And a mild concussion can turn
3 years for.
I like.
Was it every day thing or every so often?
At least a few times a week at a minimum. It was definitely like it was a timing thing. There'd have to be the right amount of lull in the room. It's like it was very comedic in its timing, right? It's like if Chris Farley threw himself through the coffee table during the here's Matt. Like it was just about the timing for me, and that was the thing that I could do, so I did it. I'm fairly certain I created some kind of brain damage in myself and possibly CT. And I'm not saying any of this stuff to disparage upon or remove from the spotlight anyone who actually does suffer from it. And I'm not trying to make light of it. I'm joking about it only because I did it to myself, not knowingly, but apparently electively. This is not a negative thing. This is hey, maybe don't do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Learn from my mistakes.
And you stop.
When I'm dying, they split my skull open and I take a look at my brain and go, oh yeah, he was demented as shit because he used to hit himself in the face with textbooks.
They're going to figure that out immediately though.
Can we sue Random House after that? Like, can we sue the manufacturer because they made a book that was too heavy?
Speaking of like textbooks, I found an old textbook that I had from like 4th grade. My mind shot right back. I was like, holy cow, I can't believe I still had this. I was probably supposed to give that back, but geez. It's kind of mind blowing. It's like looking at like a fourth grade textbook that I used to have when I was in fourth grade. I remember flipping through it when I was a kid, and then I remember flipping through it. I was just like, wow, just being shot back. Have you ever? It's like a yearbook.
I thought there was more to that story.
No, you were just. I just remember that I found an old textbook from school. It's just weird looking at it.
So you must have stolen it then.
Yes, I never gave it back.
Okay,
obviously,
because they always want those back. Remember, you used to have to get the fucking paper bags from the grocery store and cut them so you could make the cover for that shit.
Yes,
you had to do that. I know you're a bit younger than me, but you still had to do that stuff.
Yeah,
I think that Paige had to do it too, but they started making those ones that were like, they were like cloth or whatever, and they had like elastic in them, so they could just form over the book easier. They were like different colors and stuff, so they weren't just the paper.
Oh, you know what? Yeah. I know exactly what. It's but like a sticker.
We didn't have those, but the best thing about those paper covers is that you would just draw on them all school year. You would just draw different shit, and that's the way you would know that was your math book, is because that had the Metallica logo on it that you spent 3 hours recreating, and then you realized you fucking spelled it wrong. Sorry, I guess that was me.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Yeah. It was a cover of this is separate. Same idea.
Metallica's.
I'm in high school, and Art Voice put out a paper that had Henry Rollins on the cover of the. It was like it was a full picture of him. I think it was when he started doing spoken word, and so I cut the page out, like the cover off, and I put it up on my wall, and it said, Art Voice, blah blah blah, whatever. But it didn't say who it was. So at the bottom of it, in the margin, in like a silver pen, like the silver.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. A silver Sharpie. I wrote Henry Rollins, but I wrote it Henery. Henry Rollins.
Henry.
And Scott, Fat Kid, made, I hope you, dude, when you listen to this, fucking text me immediately. He made so much fun of me. He made fun of me so hard. Funny. He's like, yeah, how's Henry Rollins doing? I'm like, what do you mean?
Henry.
He goes, that's how you fucking spell Henry.
Henry.
Same kid. He's sitting at a desk and in a science class with some other dude who's a bit of a degenerate who's scraping a band name into the table. He's carving into the table. He brought like a fucking pocket knife with him to school, and he's carving at the table. And he's carving Pink Floyd Rules. And then Scott reads it and goes, hey, buddy, you wrote Pink Flyod. Because he fucking spelled Floyd wrong.
Flyod.
He's fucking done.
I can't spell for shit, though.
And in my locker, it said something like, it was either that or Led Zeppelin Rules, but it was ROLLS. They wrote rolls, and then
that is so cool.
And then wrote, and then wrote another O over the first L, and it was rules with ROOLS.
Rules.
This is still fucking wrong.
Rules.
It's like, yo, you guys.
Oh,
the bar is high, man.
That is really funny though.
The bar is so high.
Led Zeppelin Rules, or like Pink Floyd, or Pink Floyd. Somebody was just carving that on the desk. That's really funny.
Like, buddy, you're a Pink Flyod. He's like, fuck. It was so funny.
That is pretty funny.
Oh shit!
All the high school times.
So I want to. All right, this is a question for you. I have a story for me, but I'm going to ask you this question first, and I want, if you can, on the spot. What's the first lie you remember telling?
I don't know. What's the first lie?
What's the first lie you remember telling? Like whatever off the top of your head. How young were you, and what was the lie?
Shit, dude, I don't even know. I don't even remember lying the last time I lied. Lately, I've been just fucking telling everybody the truth, so I don't even know, like...
Tom's trying to turn over a new leaf and making me look like a dick, but that's my fault.
But apparently, in my fucking experience, if you tell people the truth, they're gonna be like, you're hurting my feelings, you're still the same. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm just like, I am telling you the truth because I don't want to fucking hurt you.
Well, your feelings might be hurt, but at least I'm telling you the truth.
Jeez.
It might not be what you want to hear, but it's what you need to hear.
It's just so weird.
Well, anyway, let me tell my story so maybe it'll inspire you to remember yours. So, and I thought about this today on the way to drop Nick off at my parents'. Okay, so you and I were talking about therapy earlier, seeing a psychologist, psychiatrist, talking to a professional person to help with the issues of anxiety, depression, whatever you got going through. I personally think that everyone can benefit from talking to a third party who is trained to be able to be, non-judgmental, but also offer you, maybe judgment. Insight. Will offer you judgment without being judgmental. And so when I was young, and I don't remember how young I was, I don't remember my age, but I was definitely young, probably 6, 7 years old, maybe. I used to be in this, maybe a little older, but I think that was around where I was. I may be off by a couple of years, but maybe it was like 8 or 9. Either way, right in like that, you're in elementary school, right? Mm-hmm. I was in a group therapy session weekly. And then I think bi-weekly I had a one-on-one with the therapist with a bunch of kids my same age. And I'm positive they were all boys. I could be wrong, but I'm 95% positive they were all boys. And maybe that was on purpose. Where we got together every week and we kind of talked through our problems and stuff. And it was like a therapy session. And part of it was to kind of help figure out, how to deal with things you're feeling, but also to help sort of spark friendships and stuff. And we would go outside, like, all right, guys, today instead of talking, we're actually going to go outside and we're just going to spend 40 minutes. We're just going to play a game of soccer. Like as the therapist goes, he goes, I'm going to pick the teams so that it's just completely non-biased. It's non-biased. It's just me picking it. It's not, not picking captains. Yeah. We're just going to play soccer and stuff like that. We would do that. It was actually like if I remember correctly, it was like a larger house that was turned into I don't know what the fuck to call it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a house and to be turned into a facility in order to have people come and do these visits and stuff. And they had some property. It was, set back a little bit. It was in the woods a little bit, but there's a nice big clearing. They actually had, I don't think full size, but they had soccer nets. Like it was pretty neat. And we would go and we'd play and whatever. So the story here about the first lie I remember telling, and I remember this as I'm driving to my parents this morning, and I don't know what made me think of it. So I'm in this therapy group and stuff. And what I heard, so here's what triggered it. Okay. I was listening to Rogan and the guy he's talking to said the word sociable in reference to somebody being a social person. And I remember what sparked this is we were doing like a round table. We were all sitting around in a circle and the therapist, and I don't remember the guy's name. My mom would remember all of this, but I don't, said, and I want each person to go around and what we're going to do rather is we're going to start with, person, whatever, making the names up. I don't remember. Matt, right? I'm going to go around in a circle and each person, I want one of you to say something positive about Matt. Each person to say something positive about Joseph, Ben, whatever. And then it came to me and I remember this kid saying, he goes, I like Nick. He's a good dude. I'm paraphrasing, but he goes, he's real sociable. And in my brain, I screamed the words, a sociable's a fucking cracker. Sociables. They're like Townhouse. They're like Ritz.
Yeah.
It's a buttery cracker. It's a sociable. I still have this problem. I'm 39. This is 30 plus years later. Boop. In my brain. I went, oh, I better write this story down. So that's what triggered this. We came back from a Christmas break. We were off for a week or so. So there was 2 weeks between the last visit and this next visit. And this next visit was after Christmas. And so we're going around the room and it's like, all right, each person one at a time. Tell me what you guys did over Christmas break. What did you do? Did you see family? What kind of gifts did you get? Blah, 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 whatever. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I was first, last, whatever. It's indifferent. When it came to me, he's like, what about you? And I'm like, oh, well, we actually went to Hawaii for Christmas. It was a lot of fun. It was great. Oh, really? Yeah. No, we went to Hawaii. I was so convincing. It's like, yeah, we went to Hawaii. We flew, and whatever the airline was, maybe U.S. Air. I think it was probably U.S. Air. Because
the whole elaborate story.
Oh, I made off the top of my head, Tom. Yeah, no, we flew there. It was crazy. Yeah, we watched Harry and the Hendersons. I remember specifically saying we watched Harry and the Hendersons as the movie on the flight to Hawaii.
Imagination, bro.
And I'm sure I probably said, oh, yeah, no, it was a direct flight from Buffalo. Yes, a direct flight from Buffalo to Hawaii doesn't exist now, even with Southwest. But whatever. Funny. So I'm telling this story. I'm super adamant. I'm really detailed, right? And about our vacation, about it was beautiful there. It was palm trees. Like the ocean was super warm. I made up all this stuff, right? So at the end of all these sessions, when there'd be a private session, the therapist, because you're a minor, so they can talk to your parents about what you talk about, they would have a session, like a quick recap with your parents. So my mom was always the person who took me.
Oh, no.
And he says to my mom, oh, so how was your, and he meant it too, because I was so convincing. How was your vacation? How was your trip to Hawaii? Nick said it was a really fun time for Christmas. She goes, we didn't go to Hawaii. What? Yeah, no, we
Were you there too?
No. You were not at the recap. Okay. You were never at the recap. I'm waiting in the other room. And I said this too, and I texted this. I'm holding, I think, so Lee Jeans, the company Lee Jeans?
Yes.
Yeah, Lee Jeans. every once in a while they used to do a promotion where when they'd sell something that they'd have like a stuffed animal. So I had a bear named Lee. He had Lee jeans on and like a red like turtleneck or something. It was a cute bear. It was like my favorite thing in the world. And I'm holding on to him, just kicking my legs. I probably got khakis on even though he's got jeans on. Remember this, you're a little kid, your feet don't touch the fucking ground, you're in a big chair. I'm in the other room. And they come in and I'm just like, hey guys, what's up? And they sit down and they both look at me and I'm like, clutch my bear a little bit. What's going on? So, and this is the therapist. So why did you lie about going to Hawaii for Christmas? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It sounded more impressive than paraphrasing as an adult than the other bullshit that those guys were saying.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I just want to have a good time.
So you just thought of this when we asked? I'm like, yeah, no, I made that up off the top of my head completely. And they're like, but why? I'm like, I mean, again, more interested. Why not? Why wouldn't you? And that's at that moment that I realized, like, again, Rogan talking to the same guy that triggered this whole thing in the first place. You're at that spot developmentally by like 4.5. I forget what he said. It's like partial something where you may or may not be aware that the other person knows or doesn't know the same shit that you know. And so he gave multiple examples of like,
oh wait, I know. Okay,
you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
I feel so bad I'm bastardizing this. I wanted to write it down and I forgot, but it's part of the developmental process when you're about 4.5 or so, where you might or might not know that the other person you're talking to knows the same shit you do. So like this guy gave the example. He goes, my son was around that age and we were on the playground and he's playing with this little boy. And this little boy goes, oh, I have a Spider-Man lunchbox. And he goes, my son doesn't have a lunchbox. But my son knew enough to go, and he goes, I thought this was interesting. He goes, I was very proud of him. He goes, oh yeah, no, he goes, I have two. He goes, I have a Leaf Man lunchbox and a Grass Man lunchbox. So he made up characters to say I have two of these things, to show that he had more status than the kid who had one of these things, even though he didn't know who the fuck Spider-Man was. Obviously, the other kid didn't know who Leaf Man or Grass Man was because they didn't exist.
Yeah.
But the other kid went, oh, that's cool. And it looks at his dad, and his dad goes, oh, yeah. Like he got the thumbs up. I thought that was interesting that he did that, but basically that's the concept. And so I said to them, I'm like, why? I mean, why not tell a better story than what you did if what you did was boring? Basically, is what I said. And they were just flabbergasted. I don't remember where it went from there, but I remember feeling a slight bit of guilt because I was being confronted by two adults. One of them was my parent. But I just remember clutching this bear and just going, yeah, no, but I convinced those motherfuckers. They didn't know any better.
Oh my God. That's kind of funny though. You just needed to have like a hilarious story. You're just like, you know what? Fuck this.
Yeah. And I don't,
you know what? I did go. Fuck you guys.
I don't know, other than that, in that moment, my brain went, nah, you're going to do this. Like I made that decision in that moment to completely on the fly fabric. I didn't think about it ahead of time. It wasn't premeditated. It didn't go in going, well, I better have a good idea, but to tell them what I did, I fucking just told them. I just made it up. And that's the first lie I remember telling.
Hawaii, baby.
Flying to Hawaii for Christmas, watching Harry and the Hendersons. You would have had to watch that direct flight from Buffalo to Hawaii. You would have had to watch that movie 12 times in a row.
Well, how did you do it back then, too?
How would you do what?
Watch a movie on a flight back then.
They still had TVs on there. It's not like it wasn't.
Are you sure, dude?
Mm-hmm, positive. Yeah, they definitely had they had the like they weren't in the individual headrests like they are now. Like JetBlue and stuff. They had every 5-7 rows or whatever. There's a TV. They have them on tour like regular like coach buses now.
Wow.
They have the TVs and it would just they'd play the same thing. It was like a little fucking tiny like 6
it's like a
inch
travel
screen.
Hospital room.
Exactly. And so they had some VCR up front. They pop the tape in and they just play it. That's so hilarious. I made it up completely and they bought it hook, line, and sinker. And I just thought that's fucking amazing.
I would too, honestly. You convinced everybody to the point where he's like, hey, how was your vacation? And your mom's like, what vacation? What are you talking about?
Like, so how was your trip to Hawaii? I'm like,
shit. Mom, just say yeah. Just say yeah. Just say
just
good.
Not and go, oh, it's nice. It was warm. It was balmy. I got a lay.
It was good. It was good.
We had a lot of pork.
The water was warm.
Yes, it was beautiful there. We saw the volcano, but we didn't go up it.
We watched Harry and the Hendersons. You're like, yes, Mom. Fuck yeah.
That's what he's like. It was on so many. They put it on a loop. It was on so many times. I can't even watch it anymore.
Oh no, I think What if I gotta start? If I ever just like when you have those like hypothetical fake conversations that'll never ever happen.
Yeah.
Like I just had
every
that
minute of the day
conversation with myself right now, literally, where I was just like, huh. If that ever happened with me and Cece, I think I'd be like, yeah, we had a really, really good vacation. While the whole time I'm just like staring at her, like, what was wrong?
That's what you look at her. Do you remember when the lizard jumped on your head? Do you remember when the lizard jumped on your head?
I don't remember. I would make her like go on.
Yeah,
like,
and then just tell it back and forth,
so
and then the
funny.
ride home would be very strange. Driving home,
I'd be like, what's so?
So clearly, I have a problem with you because you're as good a liar as Dad is.
Yeah, I think I'm like kind of nervous about stuff like that because my daughter really does not like school, man. She is not feeling it.
I think the problem with that is a lot of times it's not the kid, it's the teachers. Look, let me back up.
Really? You think so?
Let me back up a moment.
Oh, no.
Let me back up a moment and preface real quick. I heard this statement recently, and I think it makes a lot of sense. And it doesn't necessarily apply to somebody like me who, it doesn't. Let me clarify. I have ADD, ADHD, I have attention deficit, I have learning disability, whatever category I've been put into, I've been put into all of them my entire life. I did not do well in school.
Me neither.
Even with the extra help going to the Academic Achievement Center, working with Miss Arneson, Miss Pernick, sweet home, shout it out. Oh yeah, no, Miss Pernick knew me from I want to say at least second grade all the way through high school.
I was with Miss Pernick.
Yeah, she was the best.
She was the best.
Yeah, she was the best. Her and Miss Arneson, they felt like each time I moved from like elementary, then to middle to high school, they just happened to move to the school also. It wasn't like they were doing time at multiple places because a lot of teachers will do that when they're specialized. No, they happened to move to the next place when I did. It's just the way that it worked out.
Yeah.
Because, it wasn't just me. There was a bunch of kids. But those people were super helpful, but I still didn't do great in school with the learning deficits and blah, blah, blah. When it comes to people who are on the spectrum, and it's very wide, and they didn't even know what the spectrum was 30 years ago, they had no fucking clue. Autism wasn't, I don't think it was even a thing they barely understood yet that it even existed.
Yeah.
You were an idiot savant was the phrase they used to use for those people. That's a true, you're laughing, it's a true thing. Idiot savant. A savant, an idiot savant was a person who was super intelligent, but a moron when it came to, I'm again paraphrasing, I don't know, please don't blow us up with this stuff, but the idea was that was a phrase that was used to classify a person who you could tell was intelligent, but couldn't look you in the eye and didn't function whatever quote unquote normally was within society.
Yeah, I know people like that actually.
Right. I know a lot of people. I have friends that are people like that.
A lot of front dudes are like that.
People that I'm considering, that are family members that are like that. I wish I had the intelligence level thing going on there. I don't. I just have I can't pay attention to shit. And what the statement is made often is that these people are, what is the phrase? It has to do with, wow, I feel like an asshole. It has to do with their ability to learn. They're learning disabled, right? So to some degree or another, you, me, for whatever our reasons are.
But I can learn drums, so that's weird.
And all the people with the super spectrum kids on the other side were all learning disabled. And somebody said recently, and I don't remember what it was, but it was just, I believe it was on Rogan, just a beautifully stated thing was that I don't believe that these kids are learning disabled. I believe that our teachers are teaching disabled. They're not able to teach to those kids because they're not trained on how to do so. They're becoming, the non-norms are becoming more and more the norm. Some of it's overdiagnosis. I know a lot of kids in 80s and 90s were overprescribed medications when they just needed to work out or like be active and burn off their extra energy. But a lot of us needed this stuff. A lot of us benefited. Not myself specifically until now, but at the time, none of that shit worked. But the teachers weren't taught how to teach to that. The teachers were taught, all right, well, this is English, so here's how you're going to go through this lesson plan. And this is math. It's math. It's universal. There's only one way to teach it. It's math. And that's not true at all. Math is universal, but the way to teach it can be completely different.
Yeah.
As a quick side note, I struggled with math my entire life. I still do. And when I went back to college, and I want to say it was 07, 06, I want to say 07, my math teacher, who was younger than me, was this brilliant guy, super great guy, who knew a bunch of the same people I knew from the scene. He was in the music scene as a fan, as a kid back in the day. He was a few years younger than me. And as a returning student, it was weird because like there was me sort of in my mid to late 20s, everybody who's 19 doesn't give a fuck, 18, 19, like, I'm just here because my parents said I had to. And then you had your 55-year-olds returning too, because it was like a 101 math class. You got to pass this shit as a prereq. And he was the best at teaching math because he would not just go, all right, does everybody get it? No, you don't? All right, well, it's just this, and then move forward. He would work on it until you got it, and if you didn't, you could go for extra hours, extra help. I went to him every week for extra help. I don't remember specifics, but I do remember that at the end of each of those sessions, the way that he instructed, the way that he explained the way the math works was completely different than I'd ever had it explained to me. And though I wasn't still great at it, it made sense and I understood it. And I owe him a huge debt of gratitude for just being such an incredible math teacher. Just like, because it wasn't just that he understood it. You know what I mean? It's like those who can do and those who can't teach. Just because a mathematician, didn't make it into NASA doesn't mean that they're not great at math. But when it comes to teaching, don't you want the people who are best able to teach the subject matter to be the ones who are teaching? This guy was one of those people. To be able to teach to the kids, to the people who want to learn, who are struggling because of whatever different, quote unquote, non-normal way that they are is, And I just, that's why, so when you say that your daughter doesn't like school, it's very possible that she just doesn't have great teachers. Being a teacher is a super fucking hard job.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if she keeps saying it's like too long. That's
why I wanted to preface that too. I have family members that are teachers. My brother's a teacher. I have all the respect in the world for them. It's one of the hardest jobs in the fucking world to teach a bunch of hormone-ridden teenagers. Sit the fuck down and learn math. Like I don't begrudge them at all. What I will say is that there are a lot of teachers who suck. It happens. There's a lot of people who suck at everything. There's a lot of
Hausman.
He actually passed away recently, like really recently, like the last month or so.
I mean, he was a teacher. Thank you for your service, but you were kind of a mean teacher. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry you're dead.
A friend or family member was really close to him and his family, and so I didn't say anything. But like the few interactions I had with him, I'm like, that guy was always a fucking dick.
Yeah, he was very mean.
But
he used to think I would purposely not do his science homework just to make him mad.
I remember Brett, you were not listening, but if you remember this, I think we were in 4th grade. You were in a different classroom. I was with Miss Lyons, and I believe you had Mr. Hausman. All the doors down the hallway are open while they're teaching because it's not that loud. It's just a teacher talking. There's not a whole lot of collateral noise, so they left the doors open. And we hear wham, wham. Dude threw the desk out, the chair out, and then Brett out of the classroom into the desk and chair because Brett wouldn't shut up or whatever Brett was doing.
Yeah.
And Brett was he's an incredibly smart person. I know him because I saw him recently. He's a good dude. We were in Boy Scouts together. He's a good dude, but he was just too smart for the room. So he was a dick about it.
Oh, that's funny.
And Hausman lost his temper, threw his book bag, his desk, his chair, and then threw him out of the room. And we all got up, everyone got up and looked out the fucking, it was like 20 kids in each doorway going, what's going on? It's like a cartoon where they're all up the door. Everyone's looking now, what the hell happened? He's like, get back in your rooms. And everyone's like, oh shit. Like everyone went back in.
That's pretty funny.
That's when you can still like abuse kids and hit kids. But I'm not saying he deserved it at all.
Like, yo, that's Brett.
But that's one of my memories of that teacher. So anyway, yeah, there are some good teachers and some bad teachers. When I was in 97, when I was in my senior year, I want to say like 90% of the teaching staff at Sweet Home High School was a year or less from retirement. So they just didn't give a fuck anymore.
No, they didn't care.
They didn't give a fuck anymore at all. And that doesn't bode well for a person who needs extra attention. Well, that's what the academic achievement center's for. Go have them help you with this shit. So it's like, all right, cool. So when you say that, your daughter is finding, school to be boring or it's too long, she's just not being engaged. They're not, she's 5, she's kindergarten?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do like these publishing parties and stuff, but I don't know. She's not feeling it.
What's a publishing party?
Like they get all the kids write their own story and then they read it in front of the class and it's a publishing party. All the parents come and shit like that. It's fun.
And she doesn't like it?
She doesn't like school in general. It's like, but that's what I mean. I guess I don't. I'm not there, so I don't know.
That's the problem with, one of the problems with standardized education is that it's the same thing with diets, right? With dieting and just diet in general. There is no one size fits all for everyone. There's no one diet that's perfect for everybody. Different diets work different for different people. Well, same thing with education. Clearly, every person is different, even though we're all similar in certain ways. It's different across the board for so many people. Employing enough teachers to be able to teach to those different sets of kids is difficult. They're already underpaid as it is. We're building a fucking wall on the border. At least that's why the government's shut down right now. By the way, everyone, don't worry. You're still getting your tax returns. But they've confirmed that they're reopening the IRS through the end of the season so they can make sure the fiscal year so they can make sure tax returns go out. But the rest of everybody else is on furlough until further notice, whatever. They're willing to spend billions of dollars on that bullshit, but they won't properly fund teachers and schools in order to educate the future of the world.
The world.
And I'm like, all right, man, that's cool. So no, it's definitely Jonathan's fault because he's got crazy ADHD and he can never sit down. The teacher doesn't know how to handle him. So it's him that has the problem. He's the problem because he's the most active in the classroom. So he's outside the norm, but it's not the teacher's fault.
No, it's not the teacher's fault. It's the kid's fault and the parents' fault.
Right, yeah. It's the kid's fault that the medication that his doctor's giving him isn't good enough because it's overprescribed or whatever. It's a big clusterfuck of bullshit. And so the thing that I worry about is like Paige managed to get through school relatively well. She had classes in high school that she was excited by and she really enjoyed, and she had ones that just bored her. And, I only got, secondhand information from her about those individual teachers, but it's like, the teacher sounds like a boring fuck.
Yeah.
Maybe social studies isn't
school is so
maybe social
too.
studies isn't your
know.
jam. I don't know.
I did like social, dude. That was my favorite.
It's weird for me because I'm weirdly like memory wise and emotionally removed from school. Like I don't remember a lot of it. I don't remember most of it. And I don't just mean the stuff that we learned, but I mean the experience altogether. There are flashes here and there of experiences that happen, like, hanging out with friends or whatever, or being, in that main, like the social studies area downstairs where my homeroom was. Kind of hanging out in there with my friends and stuff. But other than that, I don't remember a whole lot of it. None of it super sticks with me. I just kind of remember, that sucked as a general statement about it, it's sad because I'm not dumb. I'm not the smartest person in the world by any stretch, but I feel like I could have
gone a little bit further.
I could have gone a little bit further had they had the tools, which they still don't. Had they had the tools then, to help get me where I needed to be. And God bless Miss Pernick and Miss Arneson for doing everything that they could to help me. But they were two people, and I think they had another person who joined them eventually. I can't remember her name though, she was younger, who tried to help these dozens of kids who were all in a similar boat to me one way or the other.
Yeah.
That's putting the pressure of making sure that these kids all understand all of the subjects across the board, all on your shoulders, and you only see them a few hours a week.
It's not enough time.
And then the argument's made, well, the parents at home have to blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, starting then, two income households. Starting in the 80s, because of inflation and everything else, through on till now for sure, 2 income households. Both parents have to work. They can only be there so much to help. You're the first of 3 kids. You're exhausted at the end of every day. And now you have to help him with a subject that maybe you weren't super strong in high school yourself, but you managed to get that C so you could graduate. And that was 20 years ago.
Oh, jeez.
Seriously.
School sucks.
So I did have another question for you, but it's so far off topic now it doesn't even matter. Man. I'll say this, that when I went back to college the second time, I knew how important it was to me, and I did it to prove to myself that I could do it. And after taking 3 years of classes right out of high school and flunking out of a 2-year school after 3 years, I went back and in 5 semesters, so a year and a half, finished my associates and the first graduate from the recording program certificate program at N-Trip. In 5 semesters, I got 4.0 all 5 semesters. while working 35, 40 hours a week,
You know what? I do remember you
having
going
my
to
daughter
school
half the time, like busted my ass, but I did it. And I was like, yeah, I fucking did it. I knew that I could. And it's been like 9 years since I graduated.
What did you get?
My degree is in audio engineering, media production. It's concentrated in audio engineering, but it's media production,
Yeah.
video, internet,
Okay.
web design, graphic design.
Yeah.
So all that stuff. That's why I try to handle all that shit myself for the podcast. Because it's like I could hire somebody and pay them a flat rate to make a logo or whatever, but I should be able to do that too because I've done that.
You just gotta do it every day. You know, like that's what I mean. Like I gotta play more drums every day. That's all that really fucking matters to me at this point. CC my drums. I don't care. I just want to play some drums. It fluctuates. We always talk about this too. How I don't want to do it anymore. I'm over it.
Every other week, I could sell these for $800. Oh, but I want to play now.
But it's weird. And then it just, I don't know. I think that my drumming was forgotten about and purposely, what's the word I'm looking for? Purposely put down. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. It was diminished and it was made to feel like unimportant.
Yeah. Made to feel unimportant, and which was
by outside sources, not by yourself.
No.
Yeah.
Definitely by outside sources. But my thing is like I loved that. Like that was something I could feel myself learning, and
dude, in the time that I've known you, that was when I saw you at your happiest. Is when you were playing drums, you were writing songs.
They're the best things in the world.
Just playing that live show in front of all those people.
And the best part about it is that they're haunting. If you get my drift. No, people listening won't understand it because I'm like sitting in front of you. But do you know what I'm talking about? From what I've explained, they're haunting.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. I love drums.
Yeah,
they're the best.
It's that demon that keeps tapping you on the shoulder. It's like, hey man, I'm still over here. It's like it's like all my guitars in my bedroom lined up along the wall. I'm like, hey man, I'm still in pieces. Can you put me together? I'm like, that's a little sexual, bro. It's like, oh come on.
That is so funny. The guitar.
Thank you for bringing it back to this because it allows me to ask this last question.
Okay.
We were talking about touring earlier on the bus and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I went to I went to a friend's bachelor party. Some year, 10 years ago, probably some years ago. We met up at Pearl Street and they had his friends that all put it together for him. It was a bunch of people, just probably like 40, 50 dudes. We got a school bus, like a student first bus. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. We chartered it out and it took us out to this place in Batavia that's on this dirt road in the middle of nowhere. There's just this bar. And I'm like, all right. But it was really cool. Darts, pool table inside and whatever. But outside on the adjacent lot, which was all part of their property, they had a full beach volleyball court. They had 3 horseshoe pitches. They had a full basketball court, and I think like a soccer thing too.
Runways bar.
I don't know what it is called. It's in Batavia though, and so we went out and just a bunch of dudes out there. So we took this bus out, right? And there's a cooler beers, and everyone's drinking on the bus on the way out. Everyone's drinking at the thing. Everyone's drinking on the way back, and this one kid at the back of the bus had laid down on the bench and fell asleep, but he took his shoes off first. And people were about to fuck with him. And one of the kids who was like a known touring musician and stuff, he goes, no. He took his shoes off first. You can't fuck with him. And somebody else is like, yeah, no, dude, if he takes his shoes off first, you can't fuck with him. That's tour bus rules.
Yeah.
Is that a real thing? If you take your shoes off before you pass out, can they not fuck with you?
Yeah, it is.
That's real.
That's a real fucking thing. It goes way deep too. There are sandwich games. If you take a bite of your sandwich and you don't put a French fry in your sandwich, somebody gets to fucking punch it and smash your sandwich. Fred used to forget it all the time.
What?
Yeah, we did crazy shit. Along with the shoes, you got to if you fall asleep hammered in the front lounge and your shoes are on,
they can fuck with you.
We fucking draw on your face.
Okay, so it's a real thing.
Yes,
I have it confirmed. Fantastic.
That is a real thing.
I've been waiting for so long.
Funny.
I'm so glad I got it from you. I was like, it seems legit, and I've actually. For 10 years, I've used that as an absolute. I'm like, no, dude, if he takes his shoes off, you can't fuck with him.
I remember
tour bus rules. And they're like, what?
I remember this specifically. That's really funny you bring that up. On one of the runs, a friend of mine, Dave, was passed out, and I could tell that he tried really hard to get his flip flops off, but he couldn't do it. So so Fred and I copped some Sharpies and we played some fucking tic tac toe on his face, and then we left. I don't know, like we would just like kind of like. spread out, and then like maybe about a couple of hours later, we saw him, but he refused to say anything. But he had it off, but like it was still there. It was he did a really good job taking it all off, but it was still kind of there in the marks. But he refused to say anything. He refused to bring it up, and we were just like kind of like chuckling. But it was
he knew it was there, but he wouldn't say anything about it.
He wouldn't say anything because it was all washed off. But you could still
kind of see it.
But it was just really funny now that you think about it. I remember he was from Florida, so he's always in flip flops, and I could just see he was trying really hard to take his flip flops off, but it didn't work. They were just like at the tips.
Right, they were just about to fall off,
and he just fell asleep, and it was just like, oh, it counts.
I've always wondered, and now I have confirmation. That's awesome.
Oh my God, there's a photo of Fred in a wig too, of like literally 15 minutes later, like we drew on the dude's face, and then Fred put a wig on, and we burst out laughing. I have a photo on my Facebook though, but I don't have my Facebook anymore. If I find it, I'll send it to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we were laughing our ass off that night. That was so funny.
That's funny.
But yeah, that's a true thing. And then you take a bite of sandwich and you don't put like a fry or like something on it. You know, the Hit the Lights dudes were always coming up with crazy shit.
I don't understand. What do you mean? You have to like stuff a French fry into the bite?
No. Just put a French fry on top of the hamburger, and that was the thing. Like if you took a bite of it and you put it down and there was no sandwich, somebody in the band or somebody got to smash it. But the rule was, that's right. The rule was if it's like, do you want to know about the sandwich game? And then you're like, yeah, I want to know about the sandwich game. And it's like, once you know about the sandwich game, you're in, even if you don't want to play.
Right.
That's the rule. If you say you don't want to know about the sandwich game, you are exempt from the game.
But then you have to trust everyone's going to remember whether or not you said yes.
But that's the whole point. But like you end up saying, yeah, I'll know about the sandwich game, and then you're fucking done after that. And it is the most aggravating, annoying like thing in the world because you'd be super hungry. You know, nobody's done it for a while. You're super hungry. You're tired of shit. You
paying attention.
You show up at a Dunkin' Donuts or whatever, and you take a bite of your thing, and it's so good, and you put it down, and all of a sudden somebody smashes your delicious sandwich that you. And because you forgot to put a French fry, or you know what? If you didn't get anything side, you had to like put something on it, like fold the wrapper over. Like it was just kind of funny. But Fred was always forgetting to put shit on the sandwich, and it was just fun. There was one time he took a bite and got up, and we all took turns beating it, smashing it, and then when he came back, it was just flat, and he was so mad he ate it anyways. You know,
He's just crying.
He was pissed. Oh my God,
Jesus Christ!
That was really funny though. Oh, I had another story too that when it came and went from Fred too. Like we did the radio show the one time, and there was a lot of people listening, and I gave his number away.
His phone number?
His cell phone number?
Jesus, dude.
He was fucking pissed. And
yeah.
But I didn't think people would catch the number that fast. I was like, and then the next thing I know, because he was flying in, and it was just Sean, Jeff, and I doing the radio show, and he was coming and he was flying in,
and he gets off the plane, his phone's blowing up,
and he turns on the phone. I was like, and he's like, fucking Tom. It's like, it was really funny because
that's amazing.
Our manager at the time was red faced from laughing because this was the second time we've done it to him, and the first time was when we were writing the first record. I think I told you this too. I left his number was the last number was 8. And I typed out the whole number except the letter 8, the number 8. Wow, the number 8. And so his sister's number was like whatever 6. His other sister's number was whatever 7.
Oh,
his number was whatever 8, and his mom's was whatever 9. So all these people called every single buddy in his family, and because they went down the line, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
they're like,
that's how you figured out.
Is Fred there? And then they're like, yeah, hang on. So like, it was just funny. I don't know.
You did that?
Yeah, Jeff and I did it. We went out when MySpace was a thing because Fred was funny. Fred took a joke like the champion and like gave it back to us.
Dude, I want to have Fred on. I want to have Fred come on.
I agree.
We should have Fred on, and we might have to record on a Saturday or something because I think he works a big boy job. But
yeah,
I would love to fucking talk
definitely
tour stories.
It was really funny.
Tour stories.
Tour
stories.
That's pretty funny.
Fuck. All right, guys, everybody, check out the Instagram. Actually, the one that goes up today for this episode will be my 100th post. I've been actually holding off because I realized that like 4 days ago. Yeah, check out Apartment 83 Pod on Twitter, Nick Huber on Instagram, Tom is Alive. Instagram. There will be a video version of this up.
Instagram? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Plug.
Butt plug.
Maybe. For somebody that I know.
Wow, it's getting real personal. Okay, we're going to wrap it up here.
Sorry.
Everybody have a great time. Take care of each other, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Later.